Guide dogs. Dogs have been improving people's lives for many years and now partner with people in a variety of roles such as service, therapy, detection, and search and rescue. Since 1931, tens of thousands of lives have been transformed through a guide dog partnership, and today, thanks to our dedicated staff, volunteers, and our vital donations, Guide Dogs leads the world in breeding and training working dogs. But what's really involved? In this series, we're going to take you through the journey of a guide dog from genetics to partnership.
So the National Centre is our state-of-the-art centre that houses our world-class breeding programme, the largest assistance dog breeding programme in the world. The National Centre has been here since 2011 and it was opened by Princess Alexandra. So where do all our wonderful guide dogs start their journey? This is our laboratory. This is where all the science happens. We have 2 reproduction specialists who conduct the tests and examinations that we need to do to ensure that our guide dog mums are mated at the optimum time when they've ovulated and will be most receptive, and enhance our chances of a natural conception with our guide dog mums. So we do the tests that include looking at the progesterone levels within the blood, and as that rises effectively as a hormone to support pregnancy, we know that she's ovulated. And we also take smears to look at the cells under a microscope and to ensure that they're at the optimum period, ready to be mated. When a mating is planned, when a guide dog mum is due for her mating, it's not a finger in the air or a pin in the board that we choose a guide dog dad. We actually choose them very, very carefully by looking at their family tree, their history, their ancestry, and a lot of work goes into which particular dog male will suit the guide dog mum and will be complementary. We're looking at ways that we can identify traits that are important to us and whether they are influenced by genetics and whether we can improve certain traits in directions that we need for those dogs to become guide dogs. But with the advances in genomic technologies recently, we can actually look at the individual sequence of DNA, and that tells us a lot more. Effectively, that should allow us to make more precise selections to breed the next generation of guide dogs. And so it's at that point that we have a really good idea as to whether the resultant puppies, the litter that will be born, will be of interest to us as potential breeding mums and dads of the future. And we then track their progress through puppy raising. We have to do, as I say, lots of tests and checks, including hip x-rays, eye checks, elbow x-rays, shoulders, and so on, to try and effectively cherry pick the very, very best dogs that we can to become new dogs on our breeding programme. So this is one of our guide dog dads, and he's about now to meet his partner outside. So here in the mating area, this is where the magic happens, so to speak. This is where we will encourage a natural mating with our guide dog mums and our guide dog dads. We bring them in here, introduce them to each other, carefully supervise and make sure they're comfortable whilst they're doing what they need to do. And we allow nature to take its course as very best we can. And we're very proud of the fact that over the last 2 or 3 years, our natural mating success rate is around about 94%. So he's just had his mating with his partner, and we're going to take him back to his accommodation now for a well-earned rest. Good boy. We have a variety of breeds that we use. The most common and probably most recognisable are our Labradors and our Golden Retrievers, and indeed our crosses between the two, which are our most successful breed.
It's around about 5% of what we breed are German Shepherds. And then just 2 other breeds, curly coat retrievers and standard poodles, both crossed with Labradors.
The reason we use those breeds is that they tend to exhibit behaviours and traits that are useful for guide dogs. So we want a dog that's a particular size, fits the harness, relates well to the guide dog owner. Those particular breeds display those behaviours, those traits, those temperaments that make them particularly suitable to being guide dogs. So we look at particularly common diseases in dogs, and we try and determine how much genetic influence there is in those, and that then allows us to choose the next generation of guide dog mums and dads, and also importantly which mums to put to which dads to produce the subsequent generation of guide dogs, to try and lower that risk of disease. So health is obviously something that's really important. In terms of behaviour and temperament, we're tending to try and look for robust dogs that are pretty calm, pretty responsive to training and good at learning, but we do want to try and maintain a little bit of variation because not every guide dog owner is the same. So some might want a dog that's a bit more outgoing, some might want a dog that's a bit more reticent. So we have to be mindful of trying to maintain some of that variation while also trying to select for things that we want across the board.
So the cryogenic facility is basically a large freezer. It's filled with liquid nitrogen, which holds our samples of frozen semen at around about minus 190 degrees centigrade. We routinely freeze frozen semen from our guide dog dads, and there's 2 reasons really. One is it's an insurance policy for us, so if some dreaded disease hit our guide dog population, or indeed the dog population as a whole, then clearly we have that genetic material stored here from many years of our breeding program that we've been carefully honing the quality of our dogs. But also the secondary benefit is that it enables us to collaborate with guide dog schools internationally and exchange bloodlines, and this is a very effective way of us being able to ensure that our breeding program is genetically diverse and healthy and vigorous. When our guide dog dads and guide dog mums have finished their matings, they return home to their wonderful volunteers. And for our guide dog mums, the next stage of their journey is that they'll be visited by a breeding dog advisor who will conduct an ultrasound scan to confirm pregnancy.
Next time, find out whether Golden Retriever Kim is expecting her 3rd litter of life-changing guide dog puppies.